He is a member of several committees in the National Assembly, and he is a member of the Linda Mwananchi group. But one of the things that stands out about Caleb Amisi is that in many of his communications, even on social media, he'll always talk about Kenya needs a renaissance. Yesterday he had appeared in another TV station. You cannot offer development to your people without proper planning. People will remember you for one good thing that you did. Kenya needs a renaissance. Everywhere he just finishes with, Kenya needs a renaissance. Now we want to understand renaissance. What is it?
Renaissance.
Yeah, renaissance. Watu wakwenda starehe ndio kina Caleb. Yeah, you're coming here with big English.
Yes.
Caleb, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
You will take us through all this, and you're thinking about, leadership at local level, at national level. But before that, Phalaris will welcome you with the day's quote.
Today's quote is courtesy of the Greeks, and it's a Greek proverb. A society grows great when people plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. A society grows great when people plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. How does that speak to you and the Renaissance?
Yeah, of course, that is, it's vivid. It's as clear as it is that we do not change the nation because we live in at that time. We change for the future generation. And whatever we do now is not always what will benefit us as people who started, but it will benefit future generation. Even Obama said it, that we did not inherit our land from our forefathers, but we've borrowed it from our children, and we must return it with interest. That is just similar to what you've said. And that's where Renaissance comes in. They say Renaissance, others say Renaissance. Renaissance, Latifa said. It depends. It depends who taught you English. But of course, is a French word, and as well as an English word. It has its origin in European period of transformation, when Europe was mostly governed under medieval principles before the Westphalian system, sovereignty, statehood. They were the old culture, the traditional farming, using a horse to farm. Then they changed from that traditional way and the traditional culture, music, and they transformed into new, modern technology, and Europe never looked back.
Yeah.
That is a period that is called the Renaissance period in Europe. And you've come, of course, after post-European wars, the Napoleonic Wars, then we went to the World War I, World War II. They underwent a lot of tension in Europe. And then there was now a complete transformation. Back home in Africa, after the colonialism, when some few African countries started achieving independence, Ghana, led by Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah led his peers, Sako Toure of Guinea, the king of Morocco, Hassan II, and others, Gamal, and they came together and said, yes, we have independence, a few of us, but we must fight for other African to get independent. And we must have a complete transformation of African culture-wise, by our people, our language, to have one Africa. And they formed what we call Organization of African Unity. And they call it African Renaissance. And we are having AU, courtesy of the African Renaissance. So now we say that the period of Kenya, we've undergone independence, 1960s. There was a struggle to have a Kenyan independent. We achieved it. That was the first liberation. We had the Jomo Kenyattas of this world. We had the Achengo Neko, Bilgad Kagia, Dedan Kimathi. We achieved independence. That was the first liberation. Then we had the second liberation, that yes, we are independent, but we are a one-party state. So now we had another team of people now who fought for multi-partyism. And the likes of Kenneth Matiba, Charles Rubia, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and they achieved. We are a multi-party state. We are now 93 parties, and it's still going. Okay, now we are the third liberation, where now people say now we need a new constitution. This old constitution does not serve our heterogeneous society as Kenya is. So what we had another team led by Raila Odinga. Uhuru Kenyatta was there, Kibaki was there, where we had the orange versus the banana, and that is actually what morphed into Orange Democratic Movement that we now grappling with. Now I know that's the next question you're going to ask me, but that's what birthed the Orange Democratic Movement. It was a constitutional moment. That was the third liberation. They achieved it. So the question we are answering is that. What is the struggle of the fourth liberation? What is our duty as a generation? It is economic emancipation, economic renaissance, economic recovery, economic justice. That is the cardinal duty of this generation. Because the three liberations they have achieved, our fourth liberation, if we fail it, then we'll have let all the other generations down, because we have to achieve it. Why economic renaissance? You remember when June 25th of June, was it 24th or 25th?
2024, 25th June 2024.
Young people went on the streets and mobilized. They mobilized themselves. There were chaos on social media that we must a total overhaul of this system. Why did people, young people just got fed up with their country all of a sudden? They have grown up seeing the same people. Okay? When I was 3 years old, and I give him all the respect, but let me use him as an example. When I was 3 years old in primary school, Musalia Mudavadi was a minister for transport. I'm now a second-term member of parliament. He is still a minister. I mean, there is something something odd about our system. Now you're talking about Caleb Amisi, who is now 38 years. Can you imagine the Gen Z who have lived since they were young, seeing the same people, the same cabal of politicians? If you look at 2002, when you said yote yawezekana bila Moi, who are there? We had Moi with his team, Uhuru, and William Ruto. He was a chief campaigner. On this other team that was now leading the change, we had now Raila Odinga, Kibaki, okay, and the other Kalonzo, Ngilu. Okay, come to 2007. Now the team exchanges roles again. On one side, the Kibaki was on this side of Raila, goes to meet Uhuru. They are in one team. And the Ruto who was with Uhuru comes to meet Raila. They're in one team. 2000 and the next following election, 2013, after post-election, another team, two teams again. Raila, common factor. Now, the Ruto who was with Raila has now shifted, is now with Uhuru on one side, campaigning for Hague. Okay, these other people, Musalia and the rest, they have now come in the middle. Now Raila is on the one side with Kalonzo, who was in the middle. Okay, now come to 2017, Raila, a common factor. Okay, the team that was on this side, Musalia joins Raila, Wetangula joins Raila. The other side, we have now Kibaki, who was on this side, is now supporting the Uhuru and the Ruto. Okay, 2022. We have Raila, a common factor. Uhuru, who was with William Ruto, has now shifted, is with Raila. Okay? And the Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula, who are with Raila, they are now shifted to William Ruto. That's where we are today. Have these people changed? No. So the young people grew up knowing the same people, and they say, no, something terribly wrong with our country. We must a total transformation. We must some change, because nothing is changing. The economy is, of course, getting worse and worse with the same people. So we've been using the same formula the same cabal of Moi people, and they're thinking we are fighting for change. So the young people say no. And since that time I said this country needs a renaissance.
Right.
It needs a total, complete transformation from our social, political, and the cultural behaviors. Our setup needs to change for us to transit from third world to first world.
You know, very good point and even very good examples that you're giving. And I'm just thinking as you give the examples and how we approach the solution, right? If we approach the solution by saying change all elements in the formula, is that practical? Or do we look at what's the variable? Because the variable is usually what impacts the result. In every formula, there are some things that are fixed and the variables. The variable determines the output, right? So we can say Jaramogi was a constant from before independence into independence, as into multipartyism. He was the deputy leader of KANU. They swallowed KADU. He tried to form his own party. We went into multipartyism. Then he was fighting for a return to multipartyism. Okay? But going through that cycle, he was injecting something into that movement. He was a constant, but he was injecting something. The variables at that point now come into the younger people in that generation of the second liberation, or the younger people in the push for the new constitution. Now you're going to economic. The younger people would be the variables who would impact the change in the new fourth liberation, which is the economic liberation that we seek. As opposed to saying, change the entire, in fact, it is no longer 2 pi r. Change pi, change 2, change r. Come up with an entire new thing and say, the circumference of a circle is now going to be gamma delta.
Gamma sigma delta half. Something. Yeah.
You got it completely wrong, in the sense that the clamor for young people, just like we had the clamor for independence. Remember, even South Africa underwent apartheid, and they are saying the Boers, the Afrikaners, they must go. But did they all go? No. There are Afrikaners still in South Africa. They are actually part and parcel of the economic development that we have experienced in South Africa. The message was clear that we need independence. That is the message. The message clear now is that we need economic emancipation. When we say they must go, we are not saying they are going out of the country, we are chasing them to Uganda or what. We just say, the young people are just saying, we need now a space to determine our future. We need to be part of in the position of authority. We have something new we need to inject in our country. We are just asking for a space to be part of the change. We are not saying now all these old will be flogging you on the street to get out of the country. It is not literally chasing them out, but we are saying now for 40 years, the same cabal of people, you've been there, no change. Can you give a space for new people to give new ideas? And I'll give you an example. Why is the united opposition not moving a mountain? But when now Sisi Nasifuna comes and Linda Mwananchi is moving a mountain, why? People are trying to see something new. And if we play around with that space, another toddler will come up. And it will be addressing bigger rallies than ours. As it is a change moment, and the people have realized there is some problem here. These guys who have been there, and you see they are very quick to work with each other. In fact, our worry is, and I always say, that I have no problem with the likes of Kalonzo. He's a lesser evil compared to the rest. He has no skeletons around as much as he has been there, but he's a lesser evil. But what if he comes and work back with Ruto the way they've been doing all these 40 years?
Handshake.
That is my worry. So we are saying the young people are afraid. They see this, they have seen this.
Mchezo wa town.
Mchezo wa town imekuwa mingi. And these are guys who have gone to school, the intellectual. You know, they see young people on the street, they think these guys are just street boys, urchins. These are professors, they have degrees. They have studied the human history. They studied democracy. They know what works, why Scandinavians are doing well. When you talk about Singapore, they know developmental states. of all the Asian countries and what they have gone through. So there's nothing you are lying to them. You have to be very intentional on leadership. And that's why I say, if we do not address the cardinal duty of these young people and give them a space to be part of the change of this country, then if we, as the people who are at least advantaged to be in leadership, we are calling ourselves millennial. If we do not change this country democratically, using the democratic system set up, then these young people who are coming after us, they will do a revolution. They'll be very tired. They'll not do anything, they'll not want anything to do with democracy.
Yeah.
They'll get tired.
You know, the French Renaissance itself took quite a while, a few hundred years, maybe 200 or something. And essentially they moved from what they thought was worse at the time, which was feudalism, you know, there's lords and whatever, to systems of government that are like a monarchy and things like that. So at the time, it was a revolution. In hindsight, it's almost like they traded one evil to another. It's gotten us where we are, but it's like, yeah, you moved from one problem to a slightly different one. What is our version of that, and how do we avoid it? Because we could trade essentially one evil for another. We do this, we have young people at the table, but again, if it's not the right young people, we're in the same problem. If it's not young people who have the values of democracy and good governance, we still have the same problem. You'll just be trading one problem for another.
First of all, I'm impressed. You've done some good research on Renaissance. Congratulations. You've won your seat at the Renaissance table.
happy to be here.
If Renaissance forms the next government, you will be there. You will be right there.
Gonna try.
Yeah, because people say it's a difficult word. Can you make a word that can be pronounced by Mama Mboga? You know, changing a nation is difficult. You know, you can't run away from difficult words. Changing a nation is difficult. It is as difficult as Renaissance. So,
As the word.
as the word. So we're not going to change that word to fit you, because we are also not going back to mediocrity.
Correct.
Okay? So, why I'm impressed is that you've really understood the period and the transition that country. Remember, Europe was mad with the chaos, wars, and ending wars for a long period of time, until it was now discovered on a better way of organizing the society. Kenya also has had also a period of conflict from the independence time, when we had the anti-colonial wars, and then now to multipartyism, when people are arrested, people are killed. Then, of course, for the new constitution was in the aftermath of post-election violence. All those periods are marked by intense violence, just the way Europe is. After passing the new constitution, that thing was cured. Okay? Partly, I know you may say it's not working, but it was cured. Some of them was cured. After we've passed the multipartyism, at least now people can gather and form their own party and they move on. Independence, we are independent. So every transition had some aspects of progress. And that's why we're saying even the Renaissance period now, that we are now clamoring and championing for, it will have an aspect of progress. One, I agree with you that it is not every young person who will change. In fact, some revolutions comes with even worse leaders. Yesterday, I spoke to young people and said, you guys, what if you wake up to 2027 and you find William Ruto is your president? What will you do? You go back to the street? You'll be killed like flies. He'll have no business with you anymore. You've threatened him. You've done all the worst thing, and he has come back. What will you do? Then I told them, can you mobilize each other and come to parliament? Can you look for a party, form a party, and come to parliament? It's a democracy. You are not going to remove a president through revolution, because he came in democratically. Okay? So mobilize each other, come to parliament, find William Ruto elected, impeach him. Mobilize each other, find another person who removed William Ruto. He has even become more rogue than him. Impeach him. Change must come from parliament and the county assemblies. Do not look at one individual and then think when you remove this person, you've solved our issues. There are issues in parliament that needs to be solved. There are issues in the county assemblies. These rogue governors masquerading around, we carrying our money on bags. They need to be impeached by county assemblies.
Just hold that thought, Caleb. We'll be right back with Caleb Amisi, who's the MP of Saboti constituency, talking all things Renaissance. If you've heard that word for the first time today, welcome to class. And the teacher is none other than Caleb. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Fixers work on a feedback. Kwena Lifestyle says this is the talk that we should be having. Lenny D. Steve says the problem is taking a shower and then getting back to the same old clothes that we were in. Umeoga, unarudia nguo za shamba. Nguo ya shamba. Joe is asking what's Caleb's prescription for corruption. Joe Mungai is on this. And he's saying everybody who comes here, let's hear your thought on corruption. Sophie says the People's Renaissance Movement Party shall be the vehicle that takes young progressive minds to parliament and county assemblies. We shall have 150 of us in the August House. Watati.
Finale.
Bas. The Kikombe, regulate campaign money. Let all campaign money come from the national government. The Kikombe has even come on the show and actually put it out as an argument.
Yes.
Renaissance will be spelled correctly. Unaandika Renaissance. Unaandika Renaissance. And then when it's pronounced, donge. Bakari Sanya, how does the government Singapore blueprint differ from the opposition's Renaissance blueprint? Medieval Europe. What's the difference? Another comment here coming from Einstein Mangi, who is another fixer who was here with us last week, says to brother Caleb, Caleb.
Caleb.
Caleb, okay.
Caleb. Caleb nikienda ni ukienda ushago. Ukiwa Nairobi, Caleb. To brother Caleb, be strong and courageous. When I was a young man, I wanted to change the world. I found it was difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. When I found I couldn't change the nation, I began to focus on my town. I could not change the town, and as an older man, I tried to change my family. Now, as an old man, I realize the only thing I can change is myself. And suddenly, I realized that if long ago I had changed myself, I could have made an impact on my family. My family could have had an impact on our town. The impact could have changed the nation. And I could have indeed changed the world. Change starts with self.
I like that.
Yeah. Brother Caleb.
Where do I start? There are quite a number.
Yeah.
But let me start with the Singapore one because it might end up answering all of them.
Yeah.
The story of Singapore, remember this is a country at the ASEAN Center, the Association of South Asian Nations. That is the Thailand, the Malaysia, Philippines, Brunei, South Korea, that peninsula. The same heterogeneous society like Kenya, no minerals, no oil, no gold like Kenya, agricultural-based economy, textile-based economy, at the same part, GDP-wise, with Kenya at our independence. So where did they get right and we got wrong? Very simple. They had credible leaders who diagnosed their problem as a nation. They discovered their strength against the world. Singapore, first of all, became a peace beacon. And therefore, it attracted the global flow of income. Insurance companies set themselves there. It became a headquarter of banking industry and all that because wanasema pesa ipendi kelele. Okay? So it attracts it attracted the global flow of income because people want to send their money here. The entry point, the Kenyan space in the global, in the geopolitical global space as an entry point of East Africa, it gives it that Singapore advantage. that this being the entry point of East Africa can become a global center, economic global center, where all the finance direct investments come here. High corporations across the globe set up here, but it must become a peace beacon. Secondly, we had this Lee Kuan Yew, one of the leaders who put his foot down. He used to jail ministers who are his friends. And when you talk about the issue of corruption that has come out, that's I told you Singapore will answer all these questions. Ministers who are his friends were put in jail. No minister were found globetrotting with business people. You will directly go to jail. They were used as an example. From top, we want to fight corruption from bottom. No. We must see like 6 ministers behind bars, jailed. And sometimes we say the law protects them, we have a constitution. If they used, sometimes you have to be lethal. If they broke the law to steal our money, why are you using the law?
Break the law to punish them.
Break the law to punish them. Because they are protecting. No, that's what I say. It's not the same WhatsApp group. It is a disease that needs to be solved. Go behind anything to do with corruption, go behind bars fast. Then now we deal with the law. That being behind bars fast. And the law, of course, have that leeways. But when you allow them to they use the same money to protect themselves, that's where the country has gone wrong. But if we had started up there, ministers jail, governors, Nigeria's jailed almost 60% of the governors during the time of federal government. I don't think there is any governor in this country who has ever spent even more than a week behind bars. 1 day, 2 days, they are out. Okay, yeah, Waititu. And so we need to have we need to have like 60%. This issue of corruption will be dealt with because Singapore made sure that every penny it is going for the intended purpose. Now the agricultural based, we are exporting what? We are exporting raw material. Raw material do not catch profit anymore in the world market. We need to do value addition to our agricultural products. We need to maximize profit on what we produce as agricultural products. Textile, we need to maximize. We need to start, how do we now maximize on it? Chinese did not have what they have now. They invited big corporations. Mercedes, yes, a German model, but produced in China to take advantage of the cheap labor, a big, vast tract of land. There is no pollution in forests, all that. And the big companies set up themselves. Eventually, Chinese adopted their technology. They are now far. That's why we are saying we have to be intentional of inviting big production to this country. To consume our youth population bulge, we are struggling with youth on the street. These people will not get jobs unless we open up the Kenyan economy to the world so that big corporations are set up here. Big machines are produced right here. Eventually, Kenyans will learn this technology and they'll be producing their own. So this is the path that Singapore traveled. That's why I say if you have the right leadership, and it is not one leader, it is a team of leaders. The president must be the same as his ministers. If the president is clean and the ministers are dirty, there is no change in that country. So it may be a team of leaders. When I hear somebody talking that I'm going to change Kenya, is lying to you. You cannot change Kenya as one person. You must be a team of leaders. You must have a person who is dealing with agriculture, a person who is dealing with the financial sector, another one is dealing with the judiciary, and we must have bureaucratic institutions that are working. ESCC must work. So that when somebody sets up a company, he knows the law of Kenya will protect my profit, will protect me. The laws, systems are working. What attracts global investors are systems that are working. Without that, we can think about improving Kenya until Jesus comes back.
What does the roadmap to Renaissance look like?
Exactly what I've said.
From where we are right now.
My vision is that if people agree that, yes, it is time for change, and the young people are supposed to be, because this is their cardinal duty as a generation, if they agree that, number one, we need to go to parliament, We need to mobilize, not just young leaders. They can even be as old as Maraga, but they just need to mobilize credible leaders, whether young, old, women, whoever. But they have the power to mobilize. You don't let them not talk about 75% are young. That is a democratic power you have to change. Mobilize credible leaders to parliament. Let parliament vet good commissioners. Let parliament vet good judiciary. Everything starts with parliament. Remember, we are the ones who vet all these top officials. The same to county assembly. We have the power to also impeach. We have the power to question. We have the power. It starts with parliament, it starts with county assembly. And later on, you need a team. You need to identify. This issue of picking people because they help you to campaign, it doesn't matter whether they are on merit or not. Meritocracy must be our number one priority of taking people to the public service. Meritocracy.
Okay.
So that the parliament can identify all the people in the public service and question their credibility, their credentials, and why they are there, and the work they are doing. If we will not wake up one day, even with my Renaissance, and find Kenya is Europe. But give it 15 years, 15 to 20 years, set up a system that every other crop of leadership will have to fit in.
Correct.
And you have to have an economic council. This issue of having a manifesto every 5 years, different from the other one, will never take Kenya anywhere. You must have an economic council distinct from political promises that are running the country, whether we have a rogue president or not. The system must be working.
You know all those things, Caleb. We must accept that every 5 years, Kenyans attempt to change things. And that's why more than 60% of members of parliament go home every 5 year cycle. Now, it doesn't matter that some of them are coming back, after trying Mariam the last time, then we realize, afadhali heri karudi. But the thing is, in every election, we try to change the members of parliament. I posit that it is the formula that we try to use in that whole changing of MPs and all that is flawed. And I agree with Einstein Mangi, change self. The Renaissance must start from we, the people, in agreeing that we have to change how we elect leaders. We stop voting out people and start electing people.
Correct.
Start identifying a leader. The way you're saying, the young people look for who is credible and position them, approach them, convince them that they should join parliament, then vote for them to go into parliament and hold them accountable when they're in parliament. That they go there with a social contract knowing this is why these people came to me and told me enda bunge. And this is what they expect of me. And so you're answerable to the people, not beholden to the few, the 25% that always remain in parliament. It's the same 25% that controls our politics. You'll find that the members of parliament, young members of parliament in the current parliament, are beholden to either Raila, Kalonzo, or Ruto. In the previous one, it was Uhuru, Ruto, Raila, Kalonzo, Musalia, and Wetangula. It's the same. You're all leading up to that. If we are trying to change, then we have to elect somebody who, it doesn't matter whether they are allied to or not allied to William Ruto, they shall be independent in thought.
Yes, you are right. My only problem with the good people is that they do not present themselves to this public office. They fear. They fear politics. They want to remain in their social space. They want to remain in their jobs. They'll get their meager salaries and say, I'm okay. My kids are going to school. I'm paying rent. Mambo ya siasa sitaki. I think the more these good people get into the political space, right now it is a time for a change. And when young people have started identifying people, it has never happened. That young people can now start identifying people that this guy looks like he can be a president. They have started. And even at the local level. As I say, it is not a change that will just erupt like a volcano. It is a period that we have to take advantage. And this is the time I've seen even personalities from the media space now go into politics. I've seen people now leaving their banking jobs that are going to politics. We want those people to come out. And I say this is the time, the renaissance moment is here. Now this is the wave. The way we had the Raila wave, we had, Jubilee wave. Now we have the Renaissance wave. This is the wave that will now take these good people to this office. Because if you leave the other guys, the bad leaders, to occupy this space, they are the ones who will be elected. It will be now who is the lesser evil. And I have seen it. If you continue talking to Kenyans, I personally, allow me to give you my example. I'm elected in a constituency whereby my tribe is hardly 500 people. I started my campaign 2013, right from university, when I met Peter Kenneth when he was vying for president.
Yes.
He's the one who put me in politics. And I went straight and put my name on the ballot when I was campaigning for him. And I told people we must stop this tribalism in my constituency, because it was full of, for the Kenya, you have to have this tribe. One tribe, if you're not this tribe, you cannot be a leader. I said, of course, 2013, I didn't make it. I came and hammered it again, 2017. The people who voted for me are other tribes. And I got 25,000 votes, and my tribe is about 500. It can happen. You just need to keep on insisting that this cannot work. And when people identify you as a leader, I'm an ODM elected in an area that is not predominantly an ODM. So I'm not a beneficiary of those ODM waves. And that's why I could face Raila and tell him you are wrong. When others were hitting me, unaongeaje kwa baba. But I can tell him you are wrong, because I won a seat for ODM. So the more these people go and they hit the point to local wananchi, they get it. I did it in Saboti. Now I'm leading a constituency that has the most cosmopolitan constituency, very many tribes. My tribe, I'm the only, probably the only member of parliament who has campaigned in Kiswahili for 15 years now, in Kiswahili. Because my local language, the people who speak my language, they are not more than 500. There are patches here and there. So people elected me are other tribes. Were there other tribes on the ballot? Yes, their tribesmen were there. But they identified me.
The dominant tribes had candidates.
They had many candidates. Credible. Some were even senators, sitting senators. But they left them. Because they thought, no, this young man is saying something. So, but we should not fear the space.
We, the people, when you go now when you're in Saboti, we, the people of Saboti, and you're trying to tell them about the Renaissance, or they're telling you about the Renaissance, what is their general feeling? How do you make this go beyond a wave, like you've called it, a feeling, to become something that has roots?
Yeah, of course, there is a first attempt where I tried and people identify, okay. Because you cannot just also come from nowhere and start telling people to elect you. You have to stay close to them. And of course, just like Obama, I did the local mobilization, trying to put youth together into groups, doing border shares, women into groups, and then they thought, this person is close to us. And there is something called the politics of belonging, because on my phone I have 15,000 saved numbers here. 15,000. 11, I leave you this phone, you check. 11,000 are people from Saboti. That means in every 5 people in Saboti, at least one has my number. Where's in Sengenya? Okay, and I talk to them. The politics of belonging. When my opponents came with a lot of money, they chewed the money, but they say, this guy, I talk to him. But this guy is just giving money, but he will run away. But this guy, I talk to him personally. He knows me. So people identify you. And that's why if you go to the local and identify yourself, there are people who have even gone to parliament without having money. But that identifying of local people and the continuous, advancing the ideals and why you need this leader, eventually people will get you. And then, of course, there's the politics of parties. And that's why I said, first of all, we need to have parties that have ideals. Everything starts from there. Politics of parties. That if this is the predominant party here, just like in other democracies, then you stand a high chance if you belong to that party. That party must first of all be an ideal party. So that if it takes you, you've seen the other day I was having a conversation with the Chinese ambassador, and he said, for you to be a member of the Communist Party, they must vet you for 2 years. A member, not a leader, just a member. They must vet you, Barwaya chief, meaning for 2 years. If you choose somebody from the Communist Party to become an ambassador, he's already been vetted by the party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I know Eric has a question. Wataka tu kuuliza, another thing about the history of the Renaissance is the arts. There's no Renaissance without the arts. At least there wasn't one uko kwa Europe. What is, how do we do the same? I think there's essentially no revolution, no Renaissance, no nothing without the arts. So are we tapping into arts right now? And even as a political class, is there co-option or collaboration with the arts?
Of course. Now if you transit that arts of medieval now to the current contemporary world, now you'll be talking about TikTok.
Exactly.
You'll be talking about the TikTok of this world. And as I said, that period is here with us without us realizing. From the music, from the art, from the culture. The culture of corruption that he's talking about, that people are used to being given kitu kidogo. It is that change you are talking about. It has to change even our culture, the way we behave as a people. So it was a moment of transit. And if we talk about now the Renaissance period of politics, we cannot talk about it without one, the music, the art, what we call the bloggers, all these systems contribute, content creators, all these systems contribute to a change.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the same. That Renaissance,
same script,
it's
different,
the same
different
script,
cast.
different time.
Different cast.
We are in it.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. Tumalizie hapo. Thank you so much. Caleb Amisi is the MP for Saboti, and we've been talking about why Kenya needs a renaissance. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation NTV. When we come back, we'll talk about technology-facilitated gender-based violence with Cecilia Maundo.